I'd like to introduce our newest sponsor, Swim Angelfish. Swim Angelfish is an online certification program that strengthens your teaching curriculum to serve swimmers of all abilities. Swim Angelfish will prepare you and your instructors with the skills to teach swimmers with autism, physical disabilities, anxiety, sensory and motor conditions, and more. Learn to teach skills faster and with more comfort with Swim Angelfish. Apply for an Only Alpha Pool Product Scholarship and receive up to 50% off your certification. Go to swimangelfish.com today to apply. Looking to host your first swim meet or replacing an old timing system? Run a swim meet with ease from your laptop using Superior Swim Timing. You can use Superior Swim Timing with your existing equipment, or they can provide you with a complete timing solution, including deck harnesses, buttons, and starter. SST is fully compatible with Hy-Tek and Team Unify, as well as Colorado, Daktronics, and Amiga touchpads. Go to superiorswimtiming.com to learn more, and be sure to tell them I sent you. I'm giving away not one, but two Swimnerd pace clocks on the first night of US Olympic trials. Find the link in the show notes to enter. All right. Ian Hanson, welcome to the podcast, mate. How are you?
Yeah, nice to see you, Hawke. It's been a long time, but I've certainly been following your progress on the other side of your swimming career, doing a great job of these podcasts. And, mate, I was chuffed to get the call to join on this one.
Well, mate, I appreciate it. Listen, just for a little bit of background, tell people who you are and what you've been doing for the last 30 years with Swimming Australia.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's in 2021, it's 50 years, Hawke, since I left school, which is I can't believe that. And I was only sort of left school maybe a couple of days and got a job as a copy boy and then a journalist at the Daily Telegraph. And I started a career as a writer and of course having a passion for sport. I wanted to be a sports writer, and then of course my other passion being for swimming. I sort of started at the bottom and worked my way up, and had the thrill of my life when I was chosen to go to the 1982 Commonwealth Games as a swimming correspondent. And it all started from there, and I ended up in LA for the first of what's been 9 Olympic Games, Hawke. Some as a journalist in 84 in LA to watch John Seaman win that Olympic gold as an Australian journalist. Mate, it was just one of the happiest days of my journalistic career. And then I was in 1988 in Seoul, and Duncan did his thing and won the gold medal and surfed his way to victory. And that was a great day as well. And then from then on, I became in 1991, I became the first ever media manager of the Australian swim team, and went to another 7 Olympics. And I think to do that and work in Barcelona and then Atlanta, and then in the countdown to our games, Hawke, in Sydney, as a swimmer yourself and as a media guy for myself, to be in the hometown and to have the Olympics, the big show, come to your home city, that was just absolutely a dream come true. And then Athens came along and on the team there as well. And then my daughter Brooke made that team, and after missing 96 and 2000, and then it gave the family a huge thrill to win that Olympic silver in the 100 breaststroke, and then be part of that medley relay team and that won the gold. That was just a huge thrill, and I was on to Beijing and then to London as the deputy media director of the Australian Olympic team, as I was in Rio as well. So I've seen so many amazing moments in that in that space. So it's been fantastic.
Well, a couple of things there, Matt. I've got to get your daughter on, by the way. I've had a bunch of people on, and she's on my list, so I'm coming after her. So let her know she's going to get a message from me soon. The other thing is, I think people back home in Australia know you without a doubt, but I don't think worldwide people fully understand the impact that you've had on Swimming Australia. And a lot of people may attribute certain aspects of the way that Australia has really come on in the last 30 years to people like Don Talbot, other people like that, leaders of the group. But mate, you did the work that you've done has just been phenomenal. I know you've won some awards for it. They can't give you enough awards for the work you've done. You were brilliant in my career and helping me. And every single Australian swimmer who's come along in the last 30 years has something to say to you. And generally, it's just a big thank you. So I appreciate everything you've done for us.
Yeah, thanks, Hawke. I appreciate that. And I think as you well know, in anything that you do, if you've got the passion for it, it really does make a huge difference. And I was lucky enough to have so many amazing mentors journalistically and then in the swimming world. I've been lucky enough to work with some of the best writers and journalists in Australia and around the world. I've met so many great writers in that main press centre when you go into the Olympics, and the world's press are there, and to walk in there and to be part of that is fabulous. But my Olympic story goes back to when I started to swim myself, and I was just a very average club swimmer, Hawke, and in the Queenscliff Rock Pool. But my first coach was John Devitt, and I figured out pretty early in life, Hawke, that I was never going to go to the Olympic Games as a swimmer, but maybe as a journalist. And John, of course, won the Olympics in Rome in 1960, and then became the head of Speedo. And he sort of took me under his wing and looked after me and pointed me in the right direction. And of course, his best mate, the late great Terry Gathacol, his wife taught all my kids to swim. So to have the background that those guys had and the passion that they had in sport, it became infectious. And along the way, I met so many great people. And Kevin Berry, the late Kevin Berry, was part of that as well. And I was a member of several committees in New South Wales sport, just to rub shoulders with those guys, Hawke. I mean, you just learn about their passion and what it really means to be on the other side. And I also think that the move I made out of journalism to join sports marketing and management, to learn the other side of sport, the commercial side of sport, and the management of people and sponsors and the whole commercial side of things, to have the ability or the opportunity, to work with a guy called Mike Bushell. And we were great mates in surf club days, and he was the head of, along with Wilf Barker and John Donoghue, of course, was part of that group, and John was a member of that 56 Olympic team. To have that influence and to understand the commerciality of swimming in sports marketing and management and javelin really gave me an insight into the other side. And I'll never forget Mike in the approach to Sydney. He was desperate to get swimming in prime time in Australia on television. And he kept knocking on the doors until the penny dropped and they decided to do a live broadcast of those 99 Pan Packs in Sydney. And that, for me, that was a major game changer in our sport in this country. And the ratings went through the roof. Thorpe, just to name one athlete, did his thing, as the whole team did, Hawke, as you know. But I think from memory, maybe 11 world records that week across the board with Thorpe, with Lenny Kraselberg, Penny Haynes. I'm sure that there's a few others there as well, of course. But that really turned it around to really showcase the sport of swimming 12 months out from the Olympics. And the rest, as they say, mate, is history, because when you've got a superstar like Ian Thorpe and his partner in Grant Hackett, to list a few others like Susie O'Neill, of course, and the whole lot with Skippy and Matty Welsh and yourself, and it was just Clemmy. I mean, the list goes on. it was just a perfect storm. And to be part of that, to work with those guys, to get that experience, was just a dream come true for a journalist like myself, and all that unravel in my hometown.
Well, mate, we've had some amazing teams and amazing swimmers, and you've had some good people to write about and work with. That's for damn sure. But listen, you and I, and you're an encyclopedia, mate. And that was kind of showcased just recently, and we shared the screen a little bit in a documentary, Head Above Water, that just came out on Amazon. And you're a little surprise for me. And then when I was watching, I was like, oh, Hanso's in there. And then off you go, You were amazing. You just held it together, and you're giving such great. Everybody in America is like, who's this guy? He's so smart. He's just so on top of it. I'm like, oh, that's Hanso. He knows what he's doing. But pretty cool documentary. Hey, worked out pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so thankful to Hawke, to the team at Swimming World. And it's probably an opportune time to give Brent Rootmeiler a cheerio. He's going through some tough times over there, and he's going through chemo, and I'd like to wish him all the best, because Brent and the team over there gave me an opportunity to ride on Swimming World and to extend my career, and that's just been it's been terrific to be able to do that, and just to write about my passion. And then the phone rang from John McAvoy from McAvoy Media saying, listen, we want you to be part of this doco with Cody Simpson and Bronte Campbell and Thorpe, of course, and Kyle Chalmers. And the opportunity just to get that phone call, Brett, from John McAvoy, was just terrific, because he wanted me to come in and do some chats. But the way they put that together, they made me look good, mate. Don't worry about that, which was nice. But it was just I was humbled to be asked, and the phone rang out of the blue. I think I was on my way to the beach at Currumbin, and he said, "We're doing this doco. Do you want to be part of it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm in like fling, So, mate, it was just it really has. If I mentioned that 99 Pan Packs Hawke was a game changer, then there's no doubt that this one has been this doco has been an absolute game changer. Something that swimming in this country has just been just needed something like this, just to give it a boost again, and it's certainly done that. To walk in to Adelaide, where I am doing this podcast with you this morning, with our trials about to start tomorrow, and there's a buzz around the place, Hawke. The place looks terrific. They've decorated it so well that everyone coming up and saying, "Oh, Hanso, good job on the doco. Good to see you and Hawke in there." And it was honestly, there's a real buzz around it. I think it's given the swimming community in Australia just a shot in the arm that it really needs.
Yeah, I think so too, mate. It was so well done, and I was a little worried because I had some moments in there, but typical Hawke, had to throw some stuff in there, some drama.
But it made it real, Hawke,
It did, and look, there's real moments in sport, that behind the scenes, there's real stuff that goes on, and it's tough. These guys work their ass off all year round to come and swim in a trials like this and perform for, under a couple of minutes, some of them, and that's it. That's their one shot in 4 years, and actually it's been 5 years for a lot of them. So just in terms of that, you're at the media day for Australian swimming, and they're all there, and this thing kicks off tomorrow. So what is the current state of swimming in Australia? How are we looking?
Look, I think it's been a long, nervous wait, hasn't it, for everyone through what we've been through in COVID. But we've just heard this morning, Hawke, from two of our stars of this meeting, Mitch Larkin and also Lakeisha Lucky Patterson, who's one of the stars of our Paralympic team. And they fronted the media this morning, and there was a fantastic media throng here, and it was just great to hear from those guys. And I can reveal, maybe not exclusively, but I can reveal that that Mitch Larkin has decided, Hawke, that he is going to concentrate on the 200 individual medley for Tokyo. So he will swim the 200 backstroke here at the trials, but he's going to concentrate on the 100 back and also the 200 meters individual medley for the games in Tokyo. Of course, the 200 backstroke has been his baby for so long. Silver in of course in Rio, and he's a world champion at 200 backstroke. And he admitted it was tough for him to give that one away, but he'll race it here. But he's going to relinquish that spot when it comes to the games. which, it's going to open up the doors for some other athletes too, and it's good for them to know. I mean, the likes of Tristan Hollard from the Gold Coast, and those guys, Bradley Woodward also, they're going to get a chance to maybe make their first Olympic team. But I know that from what Mitch said this morning, he's so excited about a new challenge for him in his third, which will be his third Olympics, to swim that 200 IM, inspired by Phelps and Lotke, of course. But obviously, you're happy to see Phelps retire, to let him go in and have a crack at this. But I think it's exciting for him, and it's great news for the team. And I think for him to have a new challenge, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Now, listen, on the documentary, we did get a chance to get inside a little bit with two of the superstars, as you said. Kyle Chalmers was one of them for sure, and during that time, we saw, he's had injuries, he's had stuff going on. How's he looking? How's he feeling right now? Do you know?
Well, last time I saw him, he was lean and mean, and he's certainly he's fine right down, and I think that he's got it together, and I think it took Kyle a fair while to get to the fact that, and to understand it and appreciate the fact of being an Olympic champion. It's not an easy thing for a teenager to come to terms with that, and he had to come to terms with that very quickly. And being in the swimming loving country that Australia is, it wasn't easy for him. But he's had some great mentorship from a lot of the former champions, and he's in the best of hands with Coach Peter Bishop, and good to be in their backyard here in Adelaide, and that's going to make him feel even more relaxed. But he's certainly had his ups and downs, hasn't he? With his heart issues, and then his shoulder operation just before Christmas. But he's eased his way back in. He wanted to really have a crack at it, but he had to be calmed down by Peter Bishop and also by the medical staff. That there's the big picture to think about here, Kyle. We don't want you to come back too soon. So he swam at the South Australian Championships in the relay in January, and then looked great at the Australian Championships. Was in heavy training, obviously, at the Sydney Open, but did a great job there, and is at a training camp up in Darwin. So I think it's all systems go. He's going to swim the 100, 200 freestyle. Had been toying with the possibility throughout the last 12 months of maybe doing the 100 fly, but that's been put on the back burner. I think it's a wise decision just to do concentrate on what he's best at. And he's really keen, as they all are, to be part of these relays. I mean, I think we really did show our hand in Guangzhou with the Australian strength in the depth of the relays. And Kyle, of course, he wants to get in there and get those individual spots in the 100 and become the first Australian ever to defend, or the first Australian male Hawkey to defend that 100 freestyle, and then have a crack at the 200. But he really wants to be part of those relays, and that's where our strength was in 19. And we've had a relay project underway here under Jess Coronas for the last 4 or 5 years. And I think that's going to be an exciting pathway for us to really showcase the depth of our sport in Tokyo.
Yeah, mate, you can see he's a team player. There's no doubt. He's one of those guys that loves to be around the boys and loves to be on those relays for sure. And, one of the things that really impressed me the most just to see him, in his day-to-day life is, look, he's physically gifted. We know that. But, man, he's mentally tough. He just loves to race, that kid, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. There's no doubt about that, and he's made a point of that, hasn't he? And it was a great insight into that. I mean, he's come from a footballing family, and if he wasn't an Olympic swimmer, there's no doubt that he would have been a top class AFL for our American viewers too. The Aussie rules form of football. But you see him on pool deck, and he's got a pair of goggles in one hand and he's got a footy in the other. And, it makes him relax and makes him feel at home when he's playing with the footy and got the smile on his face and takes his focus, not his focus, but takes his mind away from what he's got to do. And in that short period of time leading in, and then he settles down and gets ready to race. But I think that you're right, to see him and the other side of him and just how strong mentally he is and what he does to get himself in that space. It was quite insightful.
Yeah, mate. I was a big fan before, but I tell you what, I'm a bigger fan now. And mate, that's going to be a cracking race, in that, especially that 100 free between him and Caleb again. They've already had a couple of showdowns, but I mean, two of the most gifted, talented, strong-minded athletes, and they're going to come head to head again. And what a race! That's going to be fantastic. What about we did see a little bit of Bronte as well, where she was struggling with some injuries. How's she looking? How are the Campbell sisters doing?
Yeah, really good. I mean, they like so many of the athletes, they had their final hit out at the Sydney Open, and so good to see Kate at the Australian Championships working on if she's got a weakness, it's her start, and I think to see her working with the sports science crew to ensure that she gets off the blocks, that's going to be crucial for her. But she did relay something there at that meet, Hawkey, where she said that my only individual medal at the Olympic Games came in Beijing, where I got a bronze in the 50 freestyle. I started with that. Maybe I'll finish with that in Tokyo. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But there's certainly competition coming for Kate and Bronte across the field in that 50 and 100 freestyle. And I think it'll be amazing to see them both on this team. For Kate in particular, like Emily Seebohm, to make a fourth Olympic team, only been done by Liesl Jones. And but it's not an easy task, is it? Just to make an Olympic team, Hawkey, but let alone four. And I think that'd be just super to see Kate Campbell in there. She knows she's got a work cut out. Emma McKeon in great form in that 50 and the 100 freestyle. Her win in that event in Sydney, and also at the Australian Championships was outstanding. Bronte has struggled a little bit in the in season, but I think she's coming good at the right time. And never underestimate Bronte Campbell, remembering her amazing swim to win that World Championships in 2015 in Kazan, and then back it up with the win on the Gold Coast in 2018. She's a great little fighter, a great champion, and then they're in the best of hands with Simon Cusack. But it'd be super to have both Campbells on this team.
Oh, mate, it has to happen. They're just too good. They're phenomenal. Great races, and yeah, Bronnie said it in the documentary too. She's not much of a trainer. She doesn't mind the training, but she loves to race, and so I think we're going to get the best out of her. Yeah. Listen, for our US audience, there's some kids racing next week in the US that are going to pop that people have never heard of. It happens all the time. Give us a couple that are on the radar down in Australia that may not be kind of your household names yet.
Yeah, well, we probably thought that Kayleen McEwen was going to be one of those sleepers, but she's not a sleeper anymore, is she?
No.
Right? Yeah, she's done a great job, and I think that she's inspired so many young swimmers that had their eyes on the prize. And I mean, Kaylee, of course, is lining up for her first Olympic team. I mean, I looked at the trials back in 2016 where she was 16. She was sixth in the 100 backstroke and didn't swim anything else. So, I mean, 4 or 5 years on now, she really is one of the household names. And there are some youngsters that want to join her on this journey as well. And I think the two girls that stand out, no doubt, Molly O'Callaghan, nicknamed her Molly O from St. Peter's Western, 100-metre freestyler, also 100-metre backstroker. Couldn't have picked a tougher event in Australia, of course, with Kay Lee, Minna Atherton, Maddie Wilson, of course, maybe not as much as her freestyle now, but certainly Emily Seebohm looks in terrific shape. I think she really wants it badly. So that 100 backstroke's going to be tough. But I think Molly O, looking at what she's done this season, Hawkey, could certainly be on our freestyle relay team. And then Elizabeth Deckers, 16, 17-year-old girl from Brisbane in the 200 butterfly. Her and Brianna Throssell, of course, are finalists in Rio. They're the two standouts in this event. But I think Elizabeth Deckers has been, like Molly O, has improved every time she's raced, from the Queensland titles last December and through all the events this year. Elizabeth Deckers has done a great job. And I think there's a couple of boys too to keep an eye on, a couple of boys from the Rackley team from Centenary under Damien Jones in Thomas Neal. and also Samuel Short. Sam's an outsider, but certainly he was one of the stars of the national age. Tommy Neal, 4- or 5-time medalist at the World Juniors in the 1500 and also the 800, and Sam as well in the distance events. Anything's possible with those events. And isn't it good to see the extra freestyle events, the distance events, Hawkey, giving those youngsters another crack at the men, the 800, of course, and of course the 1500 for the girls.
Well, yes, I'm not a big fan, but you know me, I'm the sprinter. I wish they'd bring in some 50s of stroke. That'd be good for me. You know, bring in the fly. You know, 50 fly, 50 breast, 50 back. That'd be killer.
Just talking about that, I did notice one of your compatriots walked past me just a minute ago. One Matt Target walked through. So
Target's there. Good on him.
Yeah, he's walked down the corridor, so it was great to see him in the building.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. Well, yeah, give him a big hug for me when you see him. But listen, what about our other boy? What's the buzz down in Australia with Cody Simpson? How's that going down there for that? It looks like he's had a huge impact on swimming.
Sorry, Hawke, I just missed that. What was that, mate?
I was just referring to Cody Simpson. You know, what kind of impact has he had? Yeah, Cody.
Yeah, mate, what kind of impact I actually walked in with him.
Oh, nice. How's he doing?
Yeah, yeah, he's going great. Yeah, he's going real good. He came in last night, and it's must be a thrill for him when you arrive at Adelaide Airport, and they've got two big posters of all the stars, and Cody's in the right in the middle of it. But you know, with Bronte and Kyle and Brendan Hall from the Paralympic team and Ellie Cole, and it's just so good to see him. He's added as you know, he's a game changer as well. What he's brought to the sport since he came back has been absolutely superb. So it was nice for him to walk in, and I just followed him in, and he's just so friendly with everyone. And he bumped into an old mate of ours from Sydney, former backstroker Carl Wilson, was sitting down having a coffee, and Cody recognised him and went over and shook his hand, and it was just great to see him. He's so personable, and there's posters of Cody on the way in as well. So it really is good to see him just embracing everything, and to see the swimming community embracing him as well. So it's been nice to get to know him, and yeah, it's been terrific. And he saw me the other day, and he said, "It was this nice story you wrote about me on Swimming World about my family and about the research you put into my mum and my grandmother." I said, "Cody, I didn't have to go too far to find out the research, because my wife Susie actually swam with your grandmother. That's showing my age." So yeah,
but, mate, like you said, he's a good man. He's a good young man. Yeah. He's great for the sport in that sense. And look, you know, he's going to get up on the day and he's going to race, and it's going to come down to all, you know, from where we've started. I can't even tell you where we started, Hanson. It was incredible, but he put the work in, and I'm glad he's there. And look, all eyes are going to be on him. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough. In terms of media coverage and what they're allowing into the building, and I understand, you know, the trials are live on television too, right? How's that all looking?
Look, it's something new for us, new with regards to the Amazon Prime involvement. But to walk in here and to see the pool the way it's decked out, and to see their influence and the way they work with Swimming Australia, I think it's one of the most exciting pool decks, Hawkey, that I've ever walked into. Honestly, you really feel like it's the Olympic trials, and I know you do that with the US trials, and it's one of the meets I really want to get to before my time comes to an end. But you really know when from watching the vision of the Olympic trials in the US that you know you're in an Olympic trials meet. And I think that we walked in here this morning, and that's just the feeling that we got. But I think the Amazon Prime, the fact that we had the Head Above Water released just last week, has really set the scene for the new breed in broadcasting of the sport in Australia. And I think it is an exciting milestone in our sport, and I think it's going to be very exciting. And if the chat around pool deck is anything to go by, and the attendance this morning at the presser, where there would have been 8-10 cameras, 20 odd journos, swimming's back, baby.
Yeah, I can tell. There's definitely a buzz, mate. I'm sitting in Delaware right now, and I can't wait to get this thing going. Watch it on TV live. That's going to be fantastic. The US trials are on at the same time. You got the Aussie trials, so there's going to be some head-to-head clashing going on and comparisons, and it's just a great time to be a swim fan, and I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And before we wind up, just congratulations on the job you've done with Cody too, mate. He speaks very highly of you, and it was just so great to see all that unfold in Head Above Water, and to get that insight into the journey that you guys have been on. It was it was fantastic.
Mate, it was a lot of fun. It was a fun-filled year for me. We were in lockdown most of the time, and so him and I got to spend a lot of time together. I got to learn a lot about him and the type of person he is and the character he has, and the drive, the ambition, the work ethic. Second to none. So look, all credit to him. He's the one that reached out, said he wanted to do it. I just came along for the ride, helped him any way I could, kind of picked up his bags and moved them for him, and had a great experience and really, really enjoyed it. And look, he's with Michael Bowl now, and Bowl is one of the best coaches in the world. So he's in great hands. We talk, he sends me messages a couple of times a week, just gives me updates. And I'm really looking forward to watching him progress over the next 3 years in the lead up to Paris. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Hawke, the influence that he's had on the sport, and particularly on Bowley's group at the Griffith University squad, has just been exponential. It's you talk to the guys there, and they're just they're just so they're right in it. They're in that moment with him, and he's just another member of the squad. But the input that he's had has been superb, and they're excited to have him there, and as excited as he is to be there as well.
Well, mate, I said I'd take 30 minutes of your time. It's been 29 minutes and 52 seconds. You absolutely nailed it. Good job. Hey, listen, mate, good luck over the next week. It's going to be action-packed. Can't wait to watch it. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it, Hanso. Thanks,
mate. Yeah, 29 is about my old PB for a 50, mate.
All right, cheers, mate. Good to see you.
See you, brother. All the best.
Bye.